As we sit here, Monday morning, April 27th, 8:38 a.m., we are reflecting on calm, not the grammatical mark of English language and writing, not COMMA, comma, but KAMA, comma, Sanskrit for desire. Calm, and intentionally laying phonological stress upon the ah sound. It's the lost sound of the English language. We teach kids that the short A says ah, the sound of lack and bad. And the long A says a, the Fonz is here. But we don't typically teach ah. We may go with the AW, the blend is in Paul, but that's not exactly a or a or ah. That's all. It's slightly to the right. Aw shucks. Not dead center in the heart center, target bullseye. Like ah. You see, our language, the English language, has drifted quite far from the phonological mark, so to speak. But comma is desire, nevertheless. And this desire is what takes us to happiness. We must have desire to be blessed. We must have desire to begin the process of attractiveness to attract things into our lives. To start the sacral cranial pump, to get the brain waves to begin to speed up from the alpha into the beta, to set the hemispheres at work towards trying to actualize, achieve, or get us closer, nearer to that desire, nearer, ever nearer. Kama leads to karma. And then the bossy R comes in, the R that takes over, the R that drags you, that puts you on that pirate ship and takes you to a new world. That's your karma, birthed and born and made manifest by your karma. Your desire has attracted this into beingness. Karma. Okay, so karma has a much more ambivalent feeling to it, a connotation of ambivalence, as in good karma, bad karma. And obviously, we must just accept karma for the reality it is. It's born of our own desires, born from our karma. So the bossy R drags us by the arm where we might be unwilling to go. The bossy R also helps us like a hook to gain a grasp and a foothold into this reality we have created, because we create this reality and plan for it in a higher state of consciousness than the state of consciousness we enter when we become incarnated. So it seems much easier to walk through the reality we have created for ourselves on the other side. The school year may appear to be shorter and easier when you are during summer break. You know, you're in a much you forget how hard it is to wake up every morning and go to school during the summer. Okay. It's like, oh, I'll be ready. I'll be ready until that morning comes and you have to get up. And then all that negative emotionality and feeling of loss and separation comes into our being. That's what we tend to associate with karma. And that's just reality here on the earth plane. I'm sorry, the earth is not flat, so but people still like to say the earth plane. This dimension, the third density, this particular sphere, Okay, here it's difficult. We feel separated. We have these opposable thumbs, and we have um, we have an autobiographical self created by the constant use and activation of Broca's area and Wernicke's area. We're in the left hemisphere of the brain. We're always telling ourselves the story of ourselves. And because it's all about lack in this reality and separation and the feeling of isolation, we never quite feel good enough. So what does that do? We just it goes back to karma. We have more desires. If we could just have this, if we could just have that, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then we end up getting those things in our next lifetime. It takes sometimes these manifestations take a while. You can't, it may not happen overnight. The universe can have to pull some strings for you. It's going to take a little bit of time to download this into reality. So you have to be very careful about your karma, your desire. But the more separate you are, the more you begin to reach and search. There's a lot of sadness as your vibration, as your soul feels more and more trapped. And really, that trap is just becoming, in my opinion, more and more completely situated in that left hemisphere autobiographical selfhood. Because that's only one hemisphere of your brain. It's just the beta brainwave that you put yourself into when you decided you had a desire that you wanted to act upon, that separated yourself into sort of the hunter, not the hunter and the hunted, but like the hunter as like the dog going hunt, and then the master of the dog, if you will. So you kind of forget that we associate the master, if you will, with the witness. But I'm saying master in Dr. Ian McGilchrist's sense of the master and the emissary, that the right hemisphere of the brain is far more the master. Just just like in most marriages and households I know, the mom, the mother, the wife is far more the master than the man, than the husband. We are the dog that goes out in front, that protects and hunts, sure. We are not the master. And this planet has forgotten that. And this separate self, this little dog inside of us, what up, my dog? In male and female alike, it's the left hemisphere of the brain in most of us. It's the right hand, it's the right thumb. It's that grip. We're trying to get everything under our control and our grip, you see. That's what leading to the suffering and the isolation and the karma, the imbalance of desire, a desire that is to remerge as one, to reconnect with the great mother, to sexually, symbolically, spiritually, to unite, just to reunite. And so to go from kama to karma to nirvana. So let's talk about getting to that nirvanic place. The near, it's interesting because at one level, Nor does mean light in the Arabic tradition. And near, it's that nasal that has attracted me this morning. I feel it in my nasal cavity. The near is actually pushing the air up to that soft palate, and right above that soft palate is the third ventricle of the brain. So it's getting to that third eye, that center where your desire is finally blown out. Why? Because you've reunited. You've let go of the separate ego self. It's been blown out. It's just the left hemispheric autobiographical self formed by the junction and the conjunction junction. What's your function? Of Broca and Wernicke's area, whose combined function is to give us speech and language and tool making, which are all wonderful things, but they're just the mission. They're not the self. They're just the emissary and not the master. They're Hermes, the messenger from the unconscious. But, Hermes is not the end all be all God. He's a trickster, thief, messenger. And that's why we can all laugh and say that is what we all are. We're trying to steal our enlightenment, like Frodo, if you will, from, and our enemy is this this half conscious, half subconscious, sad golem figure, just trying to pull us back into the control of the ring, which I would argue is the left hemisphere in conjunction with the reptilian brain. Good, bad, you're not good, you're bad, they're bad. It's this polarizing, which honestly, I personally don't have much of a grip of that in my psyche. But that's the effect of psychedelics, just as much as one may argue past lives. That's why they're trying to bring in the ibogaine. It's what Trump and Joe Rogan, signed this executive order. Trump obviously signed it. Joe Rogan was there, and it's a nice photo op for Trump with Rogan kind of bestowing his grace upon Trump. Um, but these things are mind wipes. They can let go of that reptilian left hemispheric grip on your psyche, and in that you return back to the subconscious waters, and you can get back to your real desires, to become one with the biosphere again, to connect with the earth mother and her core in the center of the earth, and find peace and return to your heart center as your dominant seat of consciousness rather than the brain. Because the heart knows it first. The heart rate variability tells us that the heart's electromagnetic field is far larger than the brain's field. The heart and the spine can make decisions on their own before they're already what's called a heart mind. The Japanese word is the shin. And the real root of your being is called the tan tien, or the dan tien. And it's down there at the sacrum, that most sacred or holy of bones. It sits aboard or on top of the coccyx. And to get this real state of nirvana, you have to feel through your right frontal or right anterior insular cortex. You have to kind of gain that feeling, that interoception of how the sacrum is situated on the coccyx, and you have to adjust the coccyx bone. It's like a slight pelvic tilt lift that kind of tucks the coccyx under, and that little bend allows the sacral cranial pump to begin to work, and then you can feel the cerebral spinal fluid again through that interoception of the anterior insular cortex. If I'm saying that right, you can begin to get that sort of ionic, salty nourishment of the cerebral spinal fluid into the third ventricle of the brain, and really experience that nirvanic blowout / return to source awareness of this great mother. Because it's not just the womb, if you will. The earth could be seen as a womb. We're surrounded by these Schumann resonance waves and this morphic resonance field that's connecting all of us. And we just need to consciously feel into it and sink to the ground of our being and feel it through our feet. In particular, I mean, I have my feet are on like the grounding pad, and I have like the grounding wristband, so to speak. So I guess I'm cheating like Hermes. But I am getting the free ions, the free electrons, as if I were sitting or standing barefoot in the grass, or barefoot in nature, or had my hands in the grass. To be grounded is literally and metaphorically essential. God is the ground of being in this earth mother sense. She's a living conscious entity without identity. Therefore, there is room for all of us to be a part of her. The same way we could say we're all a part of the body of Christ. The same way Blake said we'd all become this giant Albion, or certainly all the British Commonwealth or Great Britain. We're all part of one giant Albion that had yet to awaken and see itself as such and get out of its Newtonian dogmatic slumber to take off the mind-forged manacles. And that's where we're still down there in Plato's cave in sort of Scorpio, with the Scorpio full moon coming though this Friday, supposedly, right at 11:11. I'm not sure if that's Eastern. I'm not sure what time it is. So as I almost have to smile, it can't be 11:11 everywhere at the same time. But 1111 is the nirvanic wake up call from the soul. That's the one that people often will see first and foremost before the triples start to come in. It's like, here we go. It's the wake up call, 1111. And so that's it. If you're meant to awaken, now is most definitely the time. We have this lineup with the Pleiades and Sedna and Taurus. We have the comet coming through. We've had the Neptune, Saturn alignment at 0 degrees Aries. We still have a lot going on in Aries for the hero to awaken. The hero with 1,000 faces within each of us must begin its heroic journey and release all that karmic karma, all that old desire trapped down there in the waters of Scorpio in the unconscious. All that bioplasmic sludge has to be let go. You got to clear that rear view mirror and like that Krungbin song, da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum. That out breath is that the hot out breath that clears the glass of your consciousness. And that can lead you back if you want to do the so hum, hum. And you see that kind of energy will eventually will get your body into a metabolic state where it's prepared to burn the fat, to purify. Okay. And that's the energy that you want to get the heart on fire. So hum. Um, for ahimsa, for non-violence, but to purify your own self, to really activate the upper dantian. To get it to connect to the lower dantian, you have to get this line that's like often seen to be zipped or unzipped. It relates in some way to the vagus nerve, as the vagus nerve does go all the way from Bourbon Street to Esplanade, all the way from the diaphragm up to the brain. It also relates to this perineural route. So there's a way to get proton spins through the water to get essentially an anti-gravitic effect. It's complicated, but the proton spins have been demonstrated to occur or co-occur with higher states of consciousness. And because of the resonance of the heart through the piezoelectric and piezochromatic effects of the collagen around the heart, and the piezoelectric properties of the pineal, we find we can have a sort of sonic signaling mechanism with piezo resonance and vibrations, and piezochromatic, which is sort of biophotonic uh, resonance, as in light waves. There's a whole internal signaling system that the heart is using, the shin, the heart mind. And once you are there and you have that resonance from the heart to the third eye, upper dantian, and to the lower dantian, uh, the hara, one might say, yeah, the hara, you can really get to a place where you have no longer any desire, but you're metabolizing energy. You're doing the work, but there's nobody there, you know. And that's really the nirvana. You've got that wheel turning. The wheel is the cerebrospinal fluid being brought up the back body, so to speak, the governing channel in your Tai Chi. And then because you have the sacrum and coccyx, like the toe ball is there, it's locked in the same way you have it. The yoga word, it's yoga. It's been um, it's been tethered. There's a proper word. It's not latched, but the proper word escapes me. It's like if you have your trailer, connected to your truck and you're pulling the boat. That's essentially what's happening. And you can tuck in the navel. That's the secondary yoga bandha. And as you begin to tuck in the navel, you really gain a greater degree of concentration. You tuck the chin down. Those are the three yoga bandhas. And then you can kind of feel the light on top of your head, and that's a sign that you've got this cord, this grounding cord is not just grounded into the earth. It's gone all the way back up to the top of your head. And you really, and above that's what's called the ID point, where you can connect to your higher self, or what Ra will call intelligent infinity. Uh, and it happens because of you're finally yoking the theta brainwave to the gamma brainwave. That's what you're doing. The grounding cord is essentially the theta brainwave. As long as you've kept that going, you feel this relaxed awareness of your ankles and your feet and your open and your hands. You're definitely catalyzing and circulating the chi properly. And if you feel the light on the top of your head, or this sphere of light on the top of your head, that would suggest the gamma has come on. So it's really just a stacking and spinning of plates, if you will, these different brain waves. And they can certainly be in harmony as long as you have no desire, no karma. You're not reaching for anything with that separated left hemispheric self. You see, as soon as you have a desire for Coca Cola or an elephant, don't think of the elephant, don't desire sex, don't want a Coke, don't want a cigarette. All those things completely disrupt your brainwave patterns and you've lost it. So, I mean, that's the that's the thing. For most people, um, you know, Nirvana is not going to be a foreverness. That's the mistake of it. It's not a foreverness. It's a never-ending quest to gain realignment. Every morning you're born again. So, Om Shanti, Om Mezami, my friends.